Stadium, we wait the entrance of the two teams. Here's LSU. And at the other end, the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Capacity House, in fact, a new record. I think we got an exciting one here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Right now, let's check back to the studio and Chris Fowler. Chris?
Ryan, great atmosphere there in the Georgia Dome. We look forward to that game. Meanwhile, in the Sun Bowl in El Paso.
Quarterback rose to the occasion with 7 straight wins to close the year. The task for LSU's Nick Saban, bring the magic back to the Bayou. Overtime victories versus 2 top 20 conference foes has the Delta believing. LSU looks to restore the roar for the postseason right in Georgia Tech's backyard. The 2000 edition of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl from the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. The LSU Tigers from the Southeastern Conference 7-4, and the Yellow Jackets of the ACC 9-2 of Georgia Tech. The toss of the coin. Randy Sims, the referee in this ball game today. The officials from Conference USA. And for the first time this year, we have seen a team win the toss and not defer. Georgia Tech won the coin toss. They're going to receive the football. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mike Gottfried, and welcome to Atlanta, Georgia. Another record crowd for this Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Mike, 2 football teams, and yesterday as we did preparation for this one, you said plain out, they may be the 2 most improved teams in college football. Explain.
Ron, I think they are, because from game 1 to the Peach Bowl, these teams really improved. They had their Waterloo games because LSU lost to UAB. They came back the next week and beat Tennessee, finished strong. Georgia Tech lost to North Carolina State after having a 13-0 lead, and they finished strong. So both improved teams.
We're going to talk a lot about the quarterbacks today. George Godsey, really an unusual situation.
Well, everybody thought he'd get beat out at the beginning of the season. He just wins. He doesn't put them in bad plays, and he may enter next season as an All-American candidate. Josh Booty, he has to get hot for LSU to have any chance to win. When they lost their 4 football games, he had 10 interceptions, so he can't afford to help Georgia Tech.
Well, the men on the sidelines directing these 2 teams in his first year at Louisiana State University, Nick Saban, 7-4, career record 50 wins, 30 losses, and 1 tie. And on the other side of the field, George O'Leary, 7th season as the head coach at Georgia Tech. You see his numbers, 62% his winning percentage. Corbello tees the ball up at the 35. Jermaine Hatch to the far side, and Kelly Campbell to the near side. As you look at Hatch first, and then there is Kelly, the 2 deep men for the Yellow Jackets. The 2000 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is underway. From the 3, this is Hatch. 20. Wow, that's as far as he will get. Let's go to the sideline. Third man, as always, on our team, Adrian Karsten.
Ron, it is louder down here than you can imagine, which is why you need to know how much the dome itself could play a role in the outcome of this game. None of the 22 men on the field right now have ever played on AstroTurf, much less in a dome, much less in a bowl game. Even though Georgia Tech is only 3 miles up the road from here, they acquiesce to every opportunity to practice inside the dome, whereas LSU cranked up the heat inside their indoor practice facility, 74, 75 degrees. Ron, if you can hear me, that's how warm it's going to get come the 4th quarter. More on that later.
Okay. Godsey to throw on first down, gets it out of the flat, and has it complete out at the 28-yard line as he got knocked down, but it was Kelly Campbell. And let's take a look at the starting lineups. Junior quarterback George Godsey. Industrial and Systems Engineering, his major. He'll have with him Burns and Wilder, Kelly Campbell, who just caught the ball along with John Myers, and Matt Bay is the tight end. We'll check the offensive line following this play. I formation this time. Play action. They're going to throw on second down as well. Steps up, got a man open. through him, looking for Myers right down the middle. Let's have a look at that starting group with the offensive line for Georgia Tech. It all starts with the big left side. Chris Brown, 6'6", 315 out of Augusta. Schmidt-Gall is the center. He and Bennett over on the right side. The defensive front.
Ron, a pretty good front. Jarvis Green has 16 career sacks, so the tackles have to do a good job on he and Allen.
Have to wonder how long Allen can go today. He has a bad calf, and he really was limping in the pregame warmups. In fact, Mitchell has just come in the ballgame. Middle screen. Throws it complete to Jonathan Smith. Almost to the 35-yard line. They'll say his knee went down at the 33 and a half. At Georgia Tech doing just what they've done in earlier ball games. As we look at the linebackers, very good and active. Lawrence, Falk, and also Brady James. And in the secondary, Booker and Robert Davis, Lionel Thomas, and Ryan Clark are the safeties. Burns and Wilder this time, as you take a look at Booker, turned an ankle 3 days ago. They didn't know if he was even going to be able to play. They take it to the right side. Breaks a tackle out of the 40, out to the 41, now the 42. That's Joe Burns on the carry, and it's Trevor Falk, the middle linebacker, making the stop.
Ron, Adrian mentioned about the dome and the heat in here. The other problem for LSU and Georgia Tech, they haven't played on artificial turf. And if you walk across that turf, if you don't pick your feet up, you'll stumble and you'll fall. And that's the big change for both these teams. You're going to see a lot of guys fall because they're not used to not picking up their feet on this turf.
Clark just had to come out of the ballgame to free safety. It looked as though he knocked his shoulder down. We'll get a report on him. Second down and short for Georgia Tech. They want to throw the ball again. Far sideline. Got single coverage, but overthrown, and immediately they went after Booker. You have to wonder if Georgia Tech knows something about the injury.
Well, Booker is the senior starter in the defensive backfield. He gives leadership to this very young defense. He's the only senior starter on this outfit. And, Ron, this is an important drive for LSU because, as you mentioned in the open, they have only given up one touchdown the first quarter. So Georgia Tech knows that. They're trying to put a dent in their psyche.
Georgia Tech first drive. They've come out steamrolling people. Only 14 points in the opening quarter given up by LSU the entire year. Third down. They need to take it to the 44. Pressure. The pass is dropped. I mean, he was alone in between 5 different defenders, and Kerry Watkins tried to run with it before he caught it.
Yeah, Kerry Watkins, usually a pretty good receiver, couldn't come back to the football.
Lavallee is the man who was putting the pressure on Gotze, and he knocked him down pretty hard.
Ron, here's the other important thing when you play on turf for the first time. You got to catch punch. You can't let them bounce on this turf because you can pick up an extra 15 yards against you if you don't field the punt.
Dyke waiting for the snap back at the 27-yard line. End over end. And it's going to be caught on the fly at the 20. This is Dominic Davis. Good coverage by Georgia Tech. He will have only 3 yards on the return as we take a look at the starters for the LSU Tigers. Josh Booty, the man at quarterback, had a good run of 4 straight games. Junior out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Kinesiology, his major. The backs, Tofield and Banks, Myers and Robinson, the wide receivers, and an outstanding tight end, Robert Royal. And they have a lot in their offensive package for their tight ends. So look for Royal, also DiMaggio and Eric Edwards to catch the ball several times today. Tofield in motion. Gives it to Banks, the big fullback. Couple of yards, that's about it. The offensive line for LSU. Reed, Sale, Lewis Williams. He's the anchor there in the middle. Dwayne Price has improved considerably. And over on the right side, Brandon Winey, normally the starter. Brad Smalling has to start because Winey has a broken bone in his hand.
And Ron, Greg Gathers, a very good defensive lineman from Louisiana.
Booty squares the shoulders, throws the pass, breaks a tackle, breaks another. Robinson, and he's loose. 40, 45. To the 49-yard line. It's good for 21. Aether Brown finally stopped him.
It's imperative for LSU to get off to a good start. Josh Booty, we talked about him in the open. He's thrown 10 interceptions in the 4 losses. If he gets his confidence going, he is a very good quarterback, an all-SEC first-team quarterback.
LSU is very quick. at their specialty position. You have to lock up, and you can't miss tackles like Clark did there.
And that's what Georgia Tech worried about in this football game, missed tackles.
Tofield, they ran right at where the blitz was coming from. It'll go for a couple of yards. Darrell Smith on the tackle. And Mike explained this. Georgia Tech stays at home for the most part. They don't blitz that much, do they?
No, they really don't. They make you work the field. They figure you're going to make mistakes, and they don't want to get in a position where they give you the big play. Ted Ruff, the defensive coordinator. And they've been improving defense. Every game getting better and better.
Second down. They need to take it to around the 40-yard line of Georgia Tech. From the shotgun. Booty right up in the middle, and that ball is dropped. Myers had it hit him right in the hand. Now let's go back to the Beck's starting lineups as we take a look at the linebackers for Georgia Tech. Wimbush, Smith, and Ather Brown. And in the secondary, Clark at one of the corners, Chris Young at the other. They are very good. And Myers at safety, probably the quarterback back there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and Ron, everybody tries Jamar Clark. They want to go after him because he's small, 5'8".
Third down. They roll the pocket to the right. Good block by the fullback. Throws this one and just throws it away. Nice job defensively by Georgia Tech.
Yeah, both teams just feeling each other out here in this first drives for both teams.
First punt of the afternoon for the LSU Tigers. Donnie Jones, a freshman out of Baton Rouge Catholic. You see his numbers. He waits for the snap at the 37. Kelly Rhino is the single deep back for Georgia Tech. Here's the left-footer's boot. Spiral is going to turn over. He runs away from it. Hits at the 3. It'll bound into the end zone. And it'll come back to the 20-yard line. 48 yards of the punt. Let's take a timeout. As Mike said, both teams feeling each other out. No score. 11:07 opening series as you look at Booty on the sideline on the phone upstairs. Godsey 2 of 5, 13 yards, 2 overthrows, and had 1 drop. Burns, the lone setback. 2 tight ends, Heller and Macbeth. Short drop. Wants to throw. Nice job by Booker. Almost intercepted, and now a flag. Mike, I don't think it's interference. They may call him for holding, but he had inside position.
Yeah, he is taught not to let the receiver inside of him.
That's the reason Godsey had to wait as long as he did. But they're going to call pass interference. I don't know. That is very, very close.
I'm sure Nick Saban doesn't like this call because he's playing bump coverage inside of Kelly Campbell, and you want to take the inside away. Playing head up, gets his hands on him, and it is a good call, Ron. He got his hands outside of Kelly Campbell, and good call by the officials.
You can see how tough it is if you're a wide receiver to get off a good quarterback like Booker, though. 1st and 10. Inside with the handoff. Ball is loose. LSU, I believe. Tigers football. Lavallee.
Just talked about George Godsey. He doesn't make mistakes, but he made one here. He's reading this option all the way. But sometimes your fullback will clamp that ball, and it looks like that one. That's what happened right there. The fullback took the ball. He let it go too far, Ron. You're only supposed to take it to your belly button and then pull it out. He let it go too far. A mistake by George Godsey.
You can see the number of turnovers lost in the season. Royal and DiMaggio, the 2 tight ends, line up on either side. They go with the running play. And Tofield, here comes a deep flag from down the field. This may be face masking, as Gathers will make the tackle, or Gathers, I should say.
And Greg Gathers got something to prove to the LSU football team. When he was a junior, he from Louisiana, went to camp at LSU, and they told him he was too small, and so all of a sudden Georgia Tech started recruiting him, and LSU came back and said, now we think you're big enough. But Greg Gathers ended up here, and he's fired up for this football game. Number 55 gets his Hands on the face mask.
Incidental is the call, so it's 5 yards. It'll be first down and 5. And understand this, LSU is moving into their fan and student section, so it is particularly loud in the direction they're going. Still no score, just over 10 minutes to play, opening quarter. Tofield, left side, big opening, has 5, has 10, first and 10, effectively first and goal. And now here comes another late flag, as down in the secondary, possibly after the play was over, Reggie Robinson got tangled up with one of the defenders of Georgia Tech. May have been Jamari Clark. So it could be a first down, Mike, but a post-play foul, they would add the 15 on after the first is accomplished. Unsportsmanlike LSU.
Brandon Tofield is 227 pounds, so he runs downhill. A good, strong running back. And the good thing for LSU, it didn't happen after the play, because they do have a first and 10 situation. LSU starts strong. They need a good start in this football game.
First down. The new line of scrimmage is out at the 24-yard line. Tofield in motion. They set the screen to the near sideline. A lot of blockers in front. Tommy Banks, the fullback, goes inside the 15 and down to around the 13. It's a gain of 12.
Tommy Banks is a good receiver. He doesn't run the ball much, although he has one run in this football game early in the first quarter. He has very good hands, and you like to use him in the red zone on screens and delays.
Mike, I remember when he came to school, he weighed between 235 and 240. Tommy now weighs 275.
Food's been good at Baton Rouge.
Well, you know, you say it's helped his blocking as well, but you're right. He has nice hands. He catches the ball well. Straight ahead with Tofield. Puts the head down. Going to be down close to the 11-yard line. Defensively, Key Fox, a freshman out of Austin Westlake, or Atlanta Westlake, I should say.
When we talked to their coaches, you brought up the fact that they've had trouble on the road, and they don't want to talk about that. They've got a young football team. This is a team that will be a top 15 team next year because they have everybody back, and they've had a good year. But they need to play on the road, and that's the statement they're trying to make here in the first quarter.
Well, double jeopardy as far as on the road for the man we were just looking at, because this literally is a home game for Georgia Tech as well. Quick pass, and he had to unload that one. They were coming with the blitz. Josh Reed, the intended receiver. And now this gives Georgia Tech an opportunity to get the extra defensive backs in the ball game.
Josh Booty just couldn't get enough on the football there. Jumped up and didn't have enough arm to complete that pass.
Third down. Booty 2 of 5, 35 yards. They need to take it down to the 3-yard line to keep this drive going.
Maybe this is the time you use Robert Royal, number 86.
Keep an eye for the tight end. Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, likes that play. Ball is down on the ground. Booty makes the recovery at the 15-yard line, and I'll tell you, you're exactly right. Royal was headed for the end zone.
He ran a corner route, Ron, and I believe that he was going to be the target. They had 2 tight ends in the football game, but at 6'5", 231, he's a good receiver. We saw the game overtime against Tennessee when he made the catch.
Caught the first big play and set up the game winner, ultimately. Corbello, a 32-yard field goal attempt for him. Booty is the holder. Good pass. He's got it. And the LSU Tigers score first in this 2000 edition of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So we'll take a timeout. 8:26 left of his opening quarter. Tigers by football. Well, tonight we advance this ESPN innovation by introducing the Red Line, a second line to help enhance certain situations of the game. Here's an example. As we await this kickoff, the red line indicates Georgia Tech's average starting position after kickoff. So let's see how they do on this one. The season average is 26.8 yards out from the end zone. Bello. Waits to kick it off. Again, it's Campbell and Hatch as the two deep men. Bello's kick, very high and very deep. 1 yard into the end zone, and Hatch will bring it out. He gets creamed as he crosses the 10 and still maintained his footing.
Ron, they didn't make it out to where they usually start. They didn't. You see the red line? I like this red line. We can use that for a lot of things in the future, but they didn't get out. Danny Crossman's the special teams coach for Georgia Tech, and he worried about the speed of LSU, and they covered well.
This is twice that LSU has gotten down on kickoffs and really hit the return man and did a great job.
Good coverage,
getting
good speed.
There. Adrian Karsten, let's check with you on the sideline.
Fred Booker, number 1, Ron, who is near sidelines here, one-on-one to the receiver. He may not play any more than total 1 quarter. This comes from Phil Almasian, the defensive coordinator for LSU. He's battered up, a little bothered by a left ankle injury. He doesn't want to play any more than 1 quarter. He feels the heat inside of this dome might help him out a little bit, but now with the timeout, this comes, as I say, from Almasian.
Okay, Adrian, LSU had to call a timeout because they had 12 men in the field. And you can see the head coach is not overly happy about what happened with that late substitution, which was going to give them too many men on the field, so we'll take a timeout. 7:45 left in this opening quarter. Tigers by 3.
Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, who takes over tonight. First game for Ralph Friedgen, who has taken the head coaching job at the University of Maryland.
Jotsy sets deep in the pocket to throw. Right over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Watkins. And that ball was behind him. He had Watkins open.
I think the receivers are having a little problem coming back to the ball with the turf. But George Godsey, when you talk about him, Ron, 222 completions of 349 passes for 2,906 yards, but only 6 interceptions. And in high school, he threw 36 touchdown passes and only 16 interceptions. So he doesn't make many mistakes.
He's 2 of 6, 13 yards. He's missed his last 3. Third down, they need the 30. Right over the middle, has this one complete. Missed tackle at the 30. It's Curry. 40 and out to the 45-yard line. Booker made a saving tackle, gain of 21.
And that's what LSU doesn't want to happen. When you talk to the LSU defensive coordinator, Phil Almasian, he talked about third down is a big down for us. We got to get off the field because Georgia Tech averages between 80 and 85 offensive plays a game this year, and we cannot have that happen to us.
Fakes the ball. Has all the time in the world, deep over the middle, and it's not even close as he was well over the intended receiver. Mike, we need to keep an eye on a young man that's just checked into the ball game for Georgia Tech. Jermaine Hatch, number 36, redshirt freshman out of Baton Rouge, and is a real speedster. He is coming out of the ball game right now, but the coaches and also the sports information department day before yesterday at practice talked a lot about him and how he has continued to impress.
Well, you know, being from Louisiana, he wants to seal the fate of this LSU team.
This time it's Burns as the only setbacks. 4 wide receivers for the Yellow Jackets on second down. And they go straight ahead with Burns. Big opening across the 50, inside the 45, and to the 44. Ryan Clark tripped him up, but it's a gain of 14.
Joe Burns scored 13 touchdowns, so when he gets inside the 20-yard line, Joe Burns is going to get the football from Bill O'Brien.
How difficult is it on the new offensive coordinator to be on the sidelines? He's normally upstairs.
Yeah, his stomach has got to be turning over flips right now.
First down from the LSU 44-yard line. They run the option again. Open side of the field. Godsey pitches it. And it's going to be Jermaine Hatch who will take it down to the 37-yard line.
Ron, there's not much change for Bill O'Brien. Ralph Friedgen ran the offense here, but he was a part of those staff meetings. So all coaches, when you hire a football coaching group, you hire the group. You don't hire one guy. and Bill O'Brien was in on all those game plans. But now, instead of worrying about the running backs, which he had to worry about before, he has to worry about every position, every call, and every defense LSU's running.
2 tight ends, 2 wide outs, and 1 setback. Gotze has pressure on him and just dumps it off. Very short pass to Heller, the tight end, for the first down. It was Mitchell, Kareem Mitchell, who was applying pressure on him.
And go back to Bill O'Brien. I was thinking about when we talked to him, we said, you know, LSU has only given up 1 touchdown in the first quarter, and he said, I'm very aware of that statistic. So he knows, you know, he knows everybody here knows Ralph Friedgen's not here. He wants to put his stamp on this team right now.
First down for Georgia Tech, far and away their most consistent drive, as Gotze swings the ball out in the flat. Nice defensive play, Robert Davis. Will Glover made the catch, and as soon as he did, he got whacked. Chris Fowler, let's check with you.
Ron, thank you. Trying to come back, UCLA down a point in the Sun Bowl. He'd been burned by Freddie Mitchell all day, but Jamar Fletcher on the carom here comes up with the huge interception to seal the victory, and the Badgers have now closed it out. A 1-point win over UCLA in the Sun Bowl, guys.
Wow.
Freddie Mitchell, that was Rod Gilmore's guy all year. He thought that Freddie should be the Blitnikoff guy.
Breaks it open, 30, 25, 20, Burns will score.
Bill O'Brien just started breathing, and now he's the new offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, so he can take a breath now.
That's really something. Only the 3rd touchdown that LSU was allowed in the first quarter this entire season. Mange with the extra point attempt. It is up, and it is good. So with 5:32 left in this opening quarter, the Yellow Jackets have answered, and it's a 32-yard run by the sophomore out of Thomasville, Georgia, Joe Burns. And look at this burst of speed. Nice lead block on James.
They brought the safety in man coverage, and a poor job in the secondary, but a very nice block that sprung Joe Burns. Speed on AstroTurf.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2000 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is brought to you by Nicorette Gum. You can do it. Nicorette can help. Expecting another record crowd, even a newer record than that one of last year. There's no seats left in this one. 7-3, Georgia Tech on top, and the fans have not been disappointed. They have seen wall-to-wall action so far. From the 1, this is Dominic Davis. Davis stopped short of the 20-yard line. Rhino on the tackle. Capital One Bowl Week continues later tonight on ESPN with the Culligan Holiday Bowl at 8:30 Eastern. Chris Sims gets the nod at quarterback for Texas, and he'll battle it out with Joey Harrington as the 11th-ranked Oregon Ducks take on Texas in San Diego. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the Internet. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten from Atlanta, Georgia. Good to have you along with us. Davis, number 31, comes in at tailback on this series. And they get it to him in first down. Bounces at 20, 25, runs into his own man, as you can see from the marker. It's going to be a gain of just beyond 10 yards. He'll have the first down.
Now, Dominic Davis is more speed for LSU. He replaces LeBrandon Toefield at the tailback position. Toefield 227. Now Dominic Davis 5'10", 206. But he has great speed, and especially on this carpet. Now he's going to be fast.
We were told prior to the ball game also that LSU will use a 3rd tailback, Devery Henderson, the freshman out of Opelousas. So we'll see and keep an eye for him when he checks into the lineup. 2 tight ends. Pitch comes back to Davis, gets a good lead block, and in fact he'll have it to around the 33-yard line. Collins tripped him up, but a nice job of blocking over there on the right side by Pearson Smalling. Reggie Robinson check in at wide receiver as Banks goes to the sideline, and tight end DiMaggio goes out of the game as well. Moody, short drop, quick look in, and he's got Myers. Ran right into the defender, but 19 very quick yards.
Ron, Jarrell Myers is a physical wide receiver. Josh Moody hits him right on the break on the quick slant against Chris Young. This is well done. Ball's going to be delivered right on time. Now good yardage for number 3, Jarrell Myers.
Moody is now 3 of 6 for 54 yards as you look at Myers on the bench getting a breather. And again, LSU goes with that 2 tight ends and only 1 wide receiver. And he got a 2-man route looking for the tight end, and the ball is incomplete, and Moody couldn't tell if he got hit by a Georgia Tech player or bumped into an offensive lineman's foot.
I believe Nick Rogers pressured him. I'm not sure exactly what happened with his footwork, but he did look like he was going down as he delivered the football.
2-man route. He had Royal out there. Let's look at it.
Nick Rogers pressuring.
See his
knocked him back into Rodney Reed, the left tackle.
When you get stepped on by 284, it's hard to look graceful. 2nd down and 10. Pressure again. They set screen to the other side, and because of the pressure by Gathers, he overthrew the screen. And boy, did they have some running room out there on the open side of the field.
Yeah, you know Gathers. Now, again, he wants to play in this football game. All ACC defensive end. You got to slow him down a little bit. The right side there, that was a lookout block. You can just yell at your quarterback, look out. Brad Smalling just got beat on the snap.
He's the one replacing Brandon Whiting. So the situation as the Georgia Tech defensive fans come to life. It's 3rd down, and the LSU needs to take it to the 39. Yellow Jackets lead it 7-3. Moody got a man wide open over the middle and had to throw too quickly. Josh Reed was underneath the umbrella of the defense and had a big gainer.
Greg Gathers says, you think I'm too small? How do I look now? Because he hit Josh Moody as he threw the football. He had Josh Reed wide open.
On this next punt, we'll superimpose the red line for you to indicate LSU's updated net punt average for the season. So let's see how the coverage team stacks up on their average. The left footer, boy, he bangs this one. Wobbly spiral, hits at the 2 and goes into the end zone. 49 yards in the punt. Nothing on the return.
And again, LSU not able to continue the drive. Just what we talked about Georgia Tech's defense. They'll let you go a little ways, and then they put the clamp on you.
Because of the pressure, they had some good routes and had some people open in the secondary. He just didn't have time to set and get the ball off.
Ron, they were wide open. But with
Reed
Greg
particularly.
Gathers is saying, I don't care. You can't throw with laying on the ground.
Gotzi swings it out of the backfield, and it is caught after being juggled by Jermaine Hatch. And Jermaine will take it to the 25-yard line. You might have to give him 2 catches on that one because he had it and popped it in the air and caught it again. Clark and Booker on the tackle.
And George Gadzey again with just a little throw over the defensive end. Jarvis Green. Hatch, as you said, had 2 chances. Booker on the tackle.
Straight ahead with the running play, and as you can see, Hatch just ran it to his own man. Trevor Falk credited for the tackle.
We talked to Ralph Friedgen last night, and he talked about George Gadzey. He said, I wasn't sure about George Gadzey, and he said in the Florida State game he got stitches in his chin, and then he pulled a hamstring in the 2nd quarter. He benched him, brought another quarterback in, but he said in the 4th quarter he led us to a comeback, and he said he knew that kid had heart.
3rd down, they need to take it to the 30-yard line as Gadzey rolls it to the right and gets his pass complete. And now let's see where he's going to mark him. Ooh, the LSU fans don't like this. They thought he got a very favorable spot.
Good tackle by Robert Davis.
It really was. The replay will show if he was in fact across that 30-yard line or not, because he got cracked immediately.
I seen this group officiate this year, and I think they're an outstanding group from Conference USA. Let's see about this play. Kelly Campbell going in motion.
Ooh, Mike, his right foot is on the short side of the 30-yard line. They gave him a full yard almost on the spot. That should have been 4th down, Georgia Tech.
A tough call for LSU's defense.
Gotsi, short drop, dumps it right over the middle. Burns dances his way for a gain of about 9 yards. And this is the kind of stuff that Gotsi will drive you crazy with. Aesthetically, it is not necessarily a thing of beauty, but it is just so efficient.
Ron, he has two things that go on for him. And one, he was a baseball pitcher. And I like quarterbacks that were baseball pitchers because you're always throwing to a target. Second thing is they run the option. They limit the defensive schemes of opposing teams because of the option.
About to go under 1 minute left to play in his opening quarter. That's going to be enough for the first down as Burns carries, runs right into Lawrence.
And this is not a good sign for LSU because all of a sudden Georgia Tech is doing what they've done all year. They keep the football and go on long drives and keep your defense on the field. Your offense can't score because they're on the bench.
Biggest down of the year for Georgia Tech. 3rd down and 18 against Central Florida. They're down in the ball game. Gotsi throws a 25-yard completion. They score again. They come from behind and win the game. And it's like that's where they turn the corner. Gotsi under pressure. Got by the defender. And caught out of bounds. That was a great effort by Nate Curry, freshman out of Miami.
You talked about that Central Florida game and then the NC State game where they had a 13-0 lead and lost the game to NC State. And they came back and George O'Leary talked to his staff and said we didn't play enough players. They only played 28 players on offense and defense. So they decided to substitute more. Morale got better. Guys are fresher and they turned it around.
Quick out pass, an uncovered receiver, Kelly Campbell, and he breaks it up the sideline as a flag comes down. Campbell with a stiff arm will take it for the touchdown.
I think what happened, Ron, is the referee's going to call a legal procedure because George Gotsi saw the uncovered receiver, but he moved too fast, and the backs weren't set, and that's exactly what's going to be called.
So mark out a 59-yard touchdown. Just what Mike's talking about. LSU was late coming out of that defensive huddle, and Campbell was just left alone. Nobody was out there on him.
George Gotsi, he's in such a hurry. He said, there's nobody out there. I'm going to get the ball out to him. But his backs weren't ready.
See, there's nobody on him.
It's a fullback is moving too soon. And there's nobody. Ed Wilder, the fullback move. Kelly Campbell for the touchdown. It's a good thing the band didn't start playing because they'd have had to stop the fight song in the middle.
27 seconds left to play.
But that's what he does, Ron. George Gotsi knows this entire offense, and he sees things, and that wasn't hard to seal.
Well, this time the ball is never snapped by Schmidgall. Bennett came out of his stance. And it's going to be back-to-back 5-yard penalties against the Yellow Jackets.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And you're talking about now the LSU fans a little closer to where Georgia Tech trying to make a lot of noise here to help their defense. LSU substituting a lot of players on defense. They talked about how hot it gets in the dome, and your players get tired quick.
Didn't want them to be tired in the 4th quarter. 2nd down and 20. Gotsi, right up in the middle. Got his tight end, overthrows him at the 46-yard line.
There's an area in 2-deep coverage, and I've said it for a long time, but up 15 to 25 yards, you got to get that ball in there quickly second-tier tight ends. You can't hang him out like this. There's an area, but he has got to get the football down and got away from him. Because if you hang it up, the safeties is going to hang your tight end up.
3rd down and 20. Godzi deep over the middle. Well, the closest to it was Glover, and he almost got underneath it to catches. The 2 defensive backs, one thought the other was going to pick it off, and neither went after it.
Ron, that plays an all-go. You have 4 wide receivers. You just send them all down the field. Just go, run. I'll read the safeties, and I'll try to figure out when I'm going to throw the football, put it up for grabs, and Damian James was the defensive back against Will Glover.
Dyke with his 2nd punt of the afternoon. 5 more minutes, we got to say, of the evening. 16 ticks left on the clock in this opening quarter. Flag goes down, driving spiral. And it's fumbled, picked up at the 15 by Davis. And Davis is going to run out of bounds over here on the near side of the field. 51 yards in the kick and 3 on the return. So they're going to ask him to kick this one again after a 51-yard kick.
Here's what happens sometimes when you have 2 wide outs gunners on your punt team. They've got to be covered outside, but all of a sudden LSU said, we're not going to cover you, we're going to rush the punt. That forces the wide gunner on that side to come back inside.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. Only 6 players on the scrimmage line. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
And that's what happened, Ron. You just see this. There's only 5 right here, and all of a sudden the 6th guy's coming in, but there's not a 7th guy. Now the defensive guy's in here. He forced him inside. Now you can hold him up a little bit and not get the good coverage.
So we'll try it again. 4th down and 25. 5 seconds left in this first quarter. Yes, this one may be better than the last one. Davis, fair catch all the way back at the 22-yard line. 52 yards on this kick. And that is the end of the first quarter at this 2000 edition of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And as they change ends of the field, we'll take a timeout. It is Georgia Tech 7 and the LSU Tigers 3. University of Maryland sitting up in the stands, and Mike, he's got to feel lost. He doesn't have a quarterback to talk to, doesn't have a headset to be on right now.
No, he's sweating too. He knows George Godsey's back next year, and he's got to play against him. But he'd love to be on this football field. He said to us last night he's going to miss being in this game.
He really likes Godsey individually as well. Also said he did not want to be a distraction today as LSU goes with a running play. Out to around the 25 is Dominic Davis. So it'll be a gain of 3, maybe 3.5. Nick Rogers defensively for the Yellow Jackets.
And he wanted to coach in this game, but he had to get busy signing the staff at Maryland and getting out recruiting. And this is a dead period right now, so that gives him the opportunity to watch this game. But you get very close to the players as a coach, and I know he misses being in the heat of the action.
Running play again, runs into his own blocker. Nice job by Georgia Tech. Not much space to run. Key Fox, the first man to get there. Number 54, the young linebacker out of Atlanta Westlake. Only a freshman, has a big cast on his hand, but as the coaches say, the way his motor runs, something like that's not going to slow him down, just a simple broken hand.
No, and LSU, the result of they've not been able to handle Greg Gathers. And so they're trying to run the football to take a little pressure off of Josh Booty, but they're now forced into a 3rd down situation. Still look for him to go to Robert Royal here eventually, the tight end.
Third down, they need to take it to the 32. Booty got a man open, and it's a first down for Reggie Robinson. Reggie Robinson will take it out all the way across the 45. It's good for 21 yards, and he just ran right out of his shoe.
When we watched practice 2 days ago here in the Dome, Reggie Robinson in a 2-minute drill, every team will go against their first defense, first offense, and Reggie Robinson caught a pass just like this and took it all the way and showed great speed. So a very good receiver, 6'2" frame, but it has great speed.
And that was number one against number one.
Number one against one, and Nick Saban didn't like that because he's a defensive guy.
That's right. The offense was really giving it to him. Booty steps up now under pressure, going to be hit, loses the football. Recovered by LSU.
See this?
Rob Sale.
This is what you can't do if you're Josh Booty. You can't turn the football over because this is an opportunistic defense.
Nick Rogers was the man applying for. He's the one that knocks it loose. You could see Gathers coming after him.
And Josh Booty made the mistake of when he started to scramble, looked like he was going to run. He did not tuck the football away, and the strip came from Nick Rogers.
Smart play by Sales, but a nice job of recovering, using his body as the shield. Now it's second down, and we're going to say 16. This time they roll the pocket, and the ball thrown well off the mark. Myers was the closest man to it.
Gathers again, Ron. Josh Booty would like to take that back, and they said he was too small to do it. Hey, he's good enough to play for us. Greg Gathers is just a player today that just wants to play in the worst way. He wants to beat LSU and prove to them that he can play football.
So here come the Tigers. Let's see if Georgia Tech's going to close the door again. Third down. They need to take it to the Georgia Tech 44-yard line. Pressure as they set up a screen into the boundary, and that ball is thrown too high to Tofield. Gathers with pressure again, and I'll tell you, Booty is rattled right now. No question about it.
What they have to tell the tackle to that side is block Gathers a little bit. I know it's a screen, and you want to invite them all in, but at least let me get it off.
And it's Smalling who is over on that side, is replacing Whitey, who has the broken bone in his hand.
And he's having his hands full. We're going to have to put the tight end to that side to extend Gathers out a little further.
Left footer's kick. This is a rocket. Wobbly spiral all the way back to the 11-yard line to Rhino. Gets a couple of tackles and is finally going to be hit. Loses the football at the 43-yard line. LSU has recovered.
I couldn't tell who made the tackle, but somebody pulled the football out.
Damian James is the man who made the hit and caused the turnover.
Did a good job of pulling the football out. Now, here's a time that you think about going for all the 7 points here. Take a shot to throw the ball down the field. After a turnover, you usually think the defense is going to come out, maybe down a little bit. The offense just fumbled the ball, or the special teams, and take your shot.
So a timeout has been called with 11:59 left until halftime, and we'll take it with them. Georgia Tech 7, LSU 3, and when we return, we'll see if the Tigers can take advantage of the turnover. Leading, but Rhino with a fumble on the punt return, and LSU has the ball at the 44-yard line of the Yellow Jackets. Play action by Booty. Waited too long. He's going to be sacked. Ball is loose, and they say he is down. No fumble.
That was a good timeout call by Georgia Tech because they did try to go for all the marbles right there. Georgia Tech made the timeout call, assembled the defense, and it was a right time to call the timeout.
Gary Johnson is the man who made the hit on the quarterback.
They're going to have to do something with Brad Smalling. They've got to help number 74 against Greg Gathers. He just cannot handle him one-on-one. It's just impossible at this point in the football game.
Brad, only a sophomore out of West Monroe, Louisiana, and now Booty wants to call a timeout.
Now they're rattled.
So we'll take a commercial break. 11:09 remaining until halftime, and it's Georgia Tech by 4. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2000 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is presented by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And in part by Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers who invite you to come see what's different. Atlanta for the holidays. Tell you what, it got very, very breezy today. Gorgeous day. A lot of sunshine, a lot of blue sky, but the temperature was not very high. Mike commented as we came to the ball game, good thing this one's being played indoors. Second down this time from the shotgun. They set that screen back to the short side of the field. Toefield tries to get by the defender and just simply could not, as Nick Rogers stayed at home and made the tackle.
Now on that play, Georgia Tech moved Greg Gathers inside on number 78, Dwayne Pierce. Here he is right here. Now he smells the screen, tries to get out here to help on it. Very, very good football player. But they move all over the place.
They lined up Claybrooks at the defensive end spot. Third down. Pressure again. Booty going to be sacked. Third time that they have gotten to him, in LSU this season's been pretty tough to get to.
They really haven't. Greg Gathers again, and that's what Ted Roof is doing. They're moving him around. Now he's working on Pierce, number 78. And you said Claybrooks, who's a very good pass rusher, he moves against Smalling on the outside. They have not been able to figure out a plan for Greg Gathers.
Fourth time that LSU has had to punt in his opening half. Donnie Jones's longest punt, 49. This one's end over end. Caught at the 18-yard line. Rhino, and he's going to take that thing all the way back across the 40. Ball is fumbled. And Georgia Tech has recovered this one. Boy, that's two in a row that Rhino hadn't been able to hold on to.
Great return, but can't finish the deal.
37 yards and a kick, 22 on the return.
Just has the ball extended. LSU had a shot at recovering that football.
Gregory is the man who made the recovery. So here comes Georgia Tech. They lead it 7-3, just over 9.5 minutes to play until halftime. Gotzi goes with a running play. Running hard is Burns, and he will have a couple of yards. That's about it. Falk from that middle linebacking spot making the tackle.
We talked about Fred Booker's injury. Still in the ball game. We saw a great performance at Tennessee and LSU with Rohan Davey playing on one ankle. Here's Booker trying to play through an injury. Here's Rohan.
Muskegon Barnes, number 91, a junior out of Moss Point, Mississippi, is the injured LSU player down on the field as you look at Booker, who is coming up to take a look at his fallen teammate. LSU is not overly deep on defense, and with Kendrick Allen unable to go today, now Barnes is down with an injury. They're going deep into the closet to get some folks that haven't seen a lot of playing time.
And that's the side of the ball they were worried about. They needed to lay off to try to get some injured players back.
Weeknights on ESPN Classic Sports Center brings you the top 50 and beyond. Tonight at 8 o'clock, the life and career of Michael Jordan. Take a look back at his 5 MVP seasons and his 6 NBA titles in his days as a minor league baseball player. To order ESPN Classic, dial 1-800-CLASSIC. Barnes still down, and now they're helping him up at the 47. Jack Marucci, the LSU trainer, the gentleman on the right-hand side of the screen, is he's really had his hands full and is getting busier as this afternoon goes on.
He needs all the help he can get with the training staff. Nick Saban 0-3, and Bowles as a head coach would like nothing better than to pull this win out here today and give himself his first win in Bowles.
Trailing by 4 right now, just over 9 minutes to play until halftime. You see LSU bring the safety up late, and they go with a reverse. Campbell down the sideline, 40, 35, inside the 30, and here comes a late flag in as he finally is stopped at the 25. 28 yards on the play.
Well, a good block by Nate Curry, number 5, sealing the linebacker inside. Here's Nate Curry, number 5. Watch this block right there in the inside, and springs Kelly Campbell on the outside. Here's Nate Curry. Receivers, you got to be able to block. And he takes all of his 186 pounds inside and makes the block.
So the new line of scrimmage following that penalty is the LSU 21. They give it to Burns. Comes to the right side, bounces it outside, puts the head down, and it's a 4 tough-yard run. And Brady James on the stop. Didn't know how much we were going to see Brady in this ball game today. He is normally the starter at that weak side linebacking spot. And our hearts go out to him and to his family. He lost his father the day before Christmas. Just came in last night. And playing a team that runs so much option and so much multiple situations as does Georgia Tech, they weren't sure how much they were going to be able to use him. Moorham has been playing a lot, but Brady back in the ball game right now. They come back to that right side again, and there's Brady James to make the tackle again for LSU, but they are inside the 10, and it'll be 1st and goal, Georgia Tech.
Talk about Brady James and Trev Falk, 2 of the best young linebackers in the country, both sophomores. And now, Ron, you look at this situation with Georgia Tech. LSU can ill afford to fall too far behind this ball club because offensively they don't have enough firepower.
Jermaine Hatch is the late offensive player checking in to the lineup. He is at tailback. And they'll give it to him. Blocker in front. That's Wilder. Turns the corner at the 5, and he'll score. Wilder, very businesslike, got out in front with all 255 pounds and led Jermaine Hatch into the end zone as he just mowed down the man on the outside. Monje with the extra point up, and it's good. We'll take a timeout. Our new score at the 8:17 mark of the second quarter is Georgia Tech 14 and LSU 3. As you take one more look at the touchdown by Hatch, the redshirt freshman out of Baton Rouge. This is Davis. No place to go. Does finally turn the corner to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but it's Claybrooks who forced him out. Adrian, let's check with you.
Big number 91, Muskingum Barnes for LSU. Bad news. Probable torn ligament in his right knee, Ron. They say doubtful, but he's done. He's done.
Okay, Adrian, good hustle there. That's, you saw earlier, our cameraman had a shot of Kendrick Allen, who had on his street clothes, and now Muskingum Barnes, the starter next to him. So the entire left side of the defensive line wiped out for this ball game tonight. 2nd down and 11. Out in the flat, this is Banks. 25 at the 30, and Aether Brown made the tackle. 17 yards in the play, and I just don't think that would be a lot of fun, Mike, when you see 275 pounds coming at you after catching a little swing pass.
No, he's got a running start, too. Tommy Banks, big in the offense today, catching the football out of the backfield. But that was a big completion for Josh Booty. Things have not gone well in the last 2 series.
2 catches for Banks now for a total of 28 yards. Corner blitz. Booty got a man there, and he throws it complete to Myers.
That was a great throw. Under duress.
Nick Rogers was all over.
Yeah, and Josh Booty shows you the strength of his arm there with making that throw. They had the right call on defense. They bring the short corner safety blitz. Nick Rogers pressure, but he's able to get the ball to Jarrell Myers. A good, strong arm. That was a big league play.
You could see Young had good position. Couldn't have covered him a lot closer, but as Mike said, great pass by Booty. Second down. Here comes safety blitz. They go with the running play. Davis hit behind the line of scrimmage to be knocked down by Myers, the free safety who had come up on the blitz.
Yeah, Georgia Tech not tipping off their defense, waiting until the last second, jumping into an 8-9-man front to stop the run. They got a bead on LSU's offense right now. They really are doing a good job.
Jimbo Fisher has not been able to get one of those passes to his tight ends yet.
He can't run the football, and it's got to depend on throwing a drop-back passing game here.
Third down. Line to make is the 40. Georgia Tech 14-3. Just under 7 minutes left until halftime. Booty throws this one, almost intercepted. Robinson cut in, was the man intended for, and Clark stepped in front. He'd have walked 40 for a touchdown.
And you got to think in back of Josh Booty's mind, and Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, is, do we think about using number 6, Rohan Davey? He's healthy. We saw him against Tennessee. After the UAB game, they publicly criticized Josh Booty, but Josh Booty has come back and really done a great job.
Donnie Jones with his 5th punt of the first half. This is going to be end over end. Rhino on the run from the 30. 40. Holds on to this one. Crowd roars. Oh, bless his heart. He had fumbled 2 in a row. So when he held on to this one in a 16-yard return, he got a standing ovation. So there's a timeout. 6:36 until halftime. Right back. 14-3 Georgia Tech. Just over 6 minutes left until halftime, and an awfully important stop for the LSU Tigers right here.
And the bad news for LSU is they can't stop the running game with Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech can continue to run the football, but now the passing game should be wide open.
Jermaine Hatch, the lone setback, and they hand it off to him. Little stretch play, breaks 1 tackle, then knocked down hard after a gain of 3. Thomas and Falk combining on the tackle.
And Trev Falk leads LSU in tackles with 113, 77 solo tackles. Started the final 8 games of his freshman year, and then now has been a very big player in his sophomore year.
Hatch again, right up the middle. Has 5, has 10, cut it off at about 13 yards on the carry. They say officially 14 yards. Damian James made the tackle.
They opened that hole up on the weak side of the line, and Jermaine Hatch probably saw the end zone with that wide hole. Look at it over here. Just look at that area. And a good cutback behind Trev Falk.
Georgia Tech quickly back to the line of scrimmage. They run that end around. Nate Curry, and this time not much. They ran it into the boundary, and Ryan Clark was right there to stop that play dead in its tracks.
And Phil Almation, the defensive coordinator at LSU, talks about Ryan Clark. He said he's a quarterback on defense. He loves that the effort that Ryan Clark gives his football team. Bill, Wisconsin, Washington, Virginia Tech, and a lot of good programs.
Second down, Hatch again, full head of steam, and he is going to have another Georgia Tech first down. Trevor Falk on the tackle, but whatever they are dialing, it is working. Raymond Roberts Blake, number 66, the left guard, with an outstanding block on that play.
And in fairness to LSU, with the injuries that they've had, they're playing a little short on the defensive line.
If you just joined us, the entire left side of the defensive front, both Allen and Barnes, gone for the ball game. Fumble the snap. Godsey picks it up, fumbles again, and it is recovered by LSU.
Well, that's a big break for LSU.
Brady James comes up with the recovery. And I believe Jeremy Lawrence is the man who knocked it loose.
Looked like the snap wasn't clean. Never got to football. And he couldn't secure it after he fumbled it on the ground. Didn't have enough time to get it back in. Picks it up. Doesn't have it in. Good, tough hit by Lionel Thomas, number 28.
So Booty's got 4 minutes and 57 seconds to work with. They go with the running play. Tofield hit behind the line of scrimmage by Gathers.
And on the other side, the offensive line for LSU is just getting humbled. And you see Rodney Reed, and he's gone to the offensive lineman, and they just blocked that the wrong way because they had an open defensive lineman. Rick Trickett, the offensive line coach, LSU is going to have a lot of diagramming at halftime.
Second down and 14. You see the clock running. Short drop by Booty. He's zinged it a little too strongly to Reed. Incomplete. Adrian, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron, we started the game talking about how hot it might get inside here the dome with a sellout crowd. 71.2 degrees is the temperature inside the dome right now. Ironically, it's not so much the heat, it's the noise that's really making the difference here. LSU brought 21,000 people. Georgia Tech brought 21,000 people just down the road 3 miles. LSU has gone to a silent count. Josh Booty is having some trouble with that, which is why he's not performing very well. Noise makes the big effect right now in the heat test.
Boy, it's coming on again. Third down. They need to take it all the way out to the 40-yard line. Here comes a blitz in the middle. Booty's pass on the look-in. Got it. Breaks a tackle. That is Robinson. And finally tackled at the 37 by Clark. Good for 10 yards.
Defense give them the football. The offense not able. Bad first down. They're not able to get anything on first down. They're going to have to throw the ball on first down to try to get some yardage and to open up their attack a little bit more. Here comes Rhino.
6 punts. Line drive. Rhino on the run at the 26. Puts the head down. It goes underneath the tackler. And he'll take it to the 31-yard line as that's Mays, Adrian Mays on the tackle. 38 on the kick, 5 on the return.
And just got over our red line there. So Rhino doing the job for Georgia Tech.
14-3, Georgia Tech.
You almost think if you're LSU right now that you better guard against a long pass here. Kelly Campbell, Kerry Watkins, because they've run the ball so effectively, they may try to spring the deep throw on you.
Play action. Godsey and the flat. Got it to McVay, the tight end, and he'll have the first down as he steps out of bounds at the 43.5. Chris Fowler, let's check in with you.
Well, Ron, we're charting some trends in bowl games. One of them, the struggles of the SEC so far, high-scoring games, and the underdogs having their day. We'll talk about that. The Dodge Different halftime report as Rod Gilmore joins me. We'll also feature the best of Ask Adrian from this season, guys.
That ought to be good.
Yeah, Chris, you're going to enjoy that. We enjoy it every week, but this is really something.
Straight ahead with the running play and not much there. Thomas making the tackle. Gain of, well, actually I'm going to say no gain. It'll be a second down and 10.
Bill O'Brien, now the new offensive coordinator, has got everything he wants in the playbook right now because the offensive line handling the defensive line of LSU. Godsey, good ball handler. You got wide receivers out there that can make big plays. So anything you want to dial up right now, you got an opportunity.
To the 50-yard line is Joe Burns. Danian James making the tackle.
Talk about Georgia Tech's offense, Ron. The first 5 games, they had only 4 plays of 30 or more yards. The last 6 games, they had 15 plays of over 30 yards or more. So they became a big play offensive football team under Ralph Friedgen and Bill O'Brien.
Third down. Pass is intercepted. Put it right in the arms of Lawrence. But he's tackled by Godsey, who saved the touchdown.
Jeremy Lawrence read the quick screen. Now, LSU's offense has to be able to take advantage of this. Quick screen. Just a very good job by Jeremy Lawrence, number 56. George Godsey didn't have enough on the football.
Normally, as you take a look at this graphic and on the season and tonight, the fact that that's 4 turnovers by Georgia Tech, normally you chop that man on the outside, but you didn't get him all the way down.
This has got to be a throwing down, I believe, for LSU.
Georgia Tech shows blitz. They stay at home. They run a little counter play, and it's nothing. I mean, maybe a loss of 1 as Brian Corrin, a senior out of Albany, Georgia, steps up to make the tackle.
The reason I felt like the first down is a good throwing down for LSU because they can't run the football on first down. Then you get in, you get behind the chains. Now you have to throw the football. The guesswork's out of play calling now.
Well, we keep looking for big Robert Royal, the tight end. Let's see if they dial him up on this series right here.
Josh Reed's another wide receiver that needs to get his hands on the football.
Booty, backside pressure, ball almost intercepted by Nick Rogers. And a flag is down. That's going to be offensive holding on Smalling.
And Brad Smalling is, he's going to see Greg Gathers in his sleep. But that's all part of an adjustment that's got to be made at halftime. You've got to put the tight end over on that side, or you've got to have a back to help against Greg Gathers. He cannot handle him one-on-one. That's impossible.
You could see Nick Rogers actually jump too high.
But that's going to be conversation that Nick Saban's going to talk to his offensive group about at halftime. And I think you'll see in the second half some adjustments to try to slow down Greg Gathers.
So here come the Tigers, second down at about 21. They need to take it down to the Georgia Tech 22-yard line. Tech leads at 14-3. Tofield. And he will go inside the 40. Clay Brooks defensively for Georgia Tech.
And that's a play call where you've got 3rd and forever, and you try to catch somebody off balance, but the fans don't like that call. So but you still have a 3rd down situation here to hit something downfield. Rohan Davey waits his turn. First down was the bad down. That got you behind the chains. Now you're here in 3rd and
17. 3rd down and 17. Shotgun formation by Booty. And he's going to call timeout.
And that adds to the frustration because on the sideline he's not going to meet with happy people.
Well, while we have a moment, our host here in Atlanta had a very special presentation yesterday for LSU Chancellor Mark Emmert and for Georgia Tech President Wayne Clough. Here's Steve Robinson of Chick-fil-A.
Thank you, Ron. Our founder and chairman, Truett Cathy, started giving scholarships to the employees of Chick-fil-A restaurants.
Go in your general fund, the scholarship program.
Truett, we thank you very much, and our students thank you. We appreciate your support of this great event, the Peach Bowl, and all the support you give to Georgia Tech and to Atlanta.
Thank you.
Back to you, Ron. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks very much. And again, a thanks and congratulations to Chick-fil-A.
Ron Truett Cathy started his first restaurant in South Atlanta in 1946. He now has 950 restaurants. They close on Sunday. He wants his employees to go to church. A good man, Truett Cathy.
And you can hear the amount of money that over the years they have given to scholarship programs. Very impressive. Our situation with the ball game. Third down and 17. Zings this one incomplete. Myers is who we wanted.
With 46 seconds to go, Ron, you may take a chance here. We'll see what Nick Saban is going to do. Nope, he decided to punt.
Rhino is going back deep, but I'm surprised they're even doing that.
Yeah, the way the offense is going, it's probably a good decision to punt the football. They don't look like an offense with a lot of confidence.
Hangs this one up. Rhino runs away from it, hits at the 2, and goes into the end zone. What have you seen any of the Ask Adrian reports? You won't want to miss this feature at halftime. The folks logging on to ESPN.com have really sent him through his paces this year. So stay tuned during the Dodge Different Halftime Report for the best of Ask Adrian.
Looney Tunes music. Well, he did it all, didn't he?
Yeah, he
talked to dogs, cats, mice, walked on the dome.
Georgia Tech's going to just keep this one on the ground, and Burns will be tackled by Ryan Clark.
The good thing for both these teams is Georgia Tech knows they made a lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers. Should be ahead a lot more than they are. LSU still alive in this football game. Nick Saban knows he's got to deal with Greg Gathers at halftime and try to figure out offensively how to get untracked on first down.
10 seconds, 9 seconds. Johnson going to be hit and sacked back at the 12. Lavallee, first time that they have sacked him in this ball game, and we are at halftime. So the score at halftime, Georgia Tech 14 and LSU 3. Now with the Dodge Different Halftime Report, here's Chris Fowler and Rodney Gilmore.
College football is a blast, Eddie. I'll tell you, ask Adrian to do just about anything, and he will. To Kelly Hamilton, Daniel Dodd, and Corey Kelly, all my thanks, and to all the people at ESPN who put up with me for the last 10, 15 years. We will be back to the second half of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in just a moment.
Very high, and it's going to be Davis. Breaks 20, 25, out to the 30. 26 yards on the return, and Adrian, let's check with you on the sideline.
Ron, the word out of the LSU Bayou Bengal locker room is this. The first half represents a whole lot of the LSU season so far. They believe in Josh Booty, but he's working too hard, and he's not getting enough production out of his offense. Rohan Davey is a possibility if Booty doesn't get it done in the first or second series. Well, here he is right now.
Well, the crowd in the end zone to the south agrees with the move, I can tell you. They got up and gave a standing ovation. They go with the running play. And it'll be close to 5 yards on the carry by Tofield. Nick Rogers holding on to him.
Well, you're looking for a spark as a head coach and the assistants. When you get in the locker room at halftime, they've talked about you don't want to blame all this on Josh Booty, but you need a spark. You need somebody to come in and get this team to play right now. So you make the change, bring Rohan Davey in. We saw what he did against Tennessee on one ankle. He played with a hurt ankle and led the LSU Tigers to a win over Tennessee in overtime.
Georgia Tech showing blitz with the safeties. They come up tight, play action. Dumps this one off. There's Tommy Banks. 40 to the 45, and the initial first down of the second half will go to the LSU Tigers.
And another adjustment you see, Brandon Winey, the number 68, who was hurt. You talked about it in the first half. He has now come in and tackled. So these are the adjustments they're making. They start Rohan Davey. They bring Brandon Winey in, say, you got to handle Greg Gathers.
We'll show you in just a moment. Winey broke a bone in his thumb, and on the punch of a pass block, it really, really hurts him. Blitz, quick pass, got the hot route complete to Reed. Almost broke it free, takes it across midfield and down to the 40, good for 16 yards. Myers defensively.
A check off at the line of scrimmage. We talked about how Georgia Tech was disguising things in the first half. All of a sudden, now you get this big cushion out here, and Rohan Davey checks off and gets the ball to Josh Reed against the blitz. Good call by Rohan Davey.
See that cast on Winey's hand? It is the auricular bone right there in that thumb, the one that is broken. Going to go with the running play. Tofield running very, very hard. I was interested in talking. You said you were well aware of this, but Jack Marucci, the trainer, talked about once they got him bandaged up, then you have to go to the officials. He said it's mandatory in the SEC that they also have to do paperwork and turn it into the league office after that happens to see what everybody is doing, and if people are coming up with casts that don't need to be there and use it as a weapon.
Yeah, there'll be a soft cast, and the officials will come in the locker room and test or check out every cast that you have, and they'll okay them.
Commissioner Kramer of the Southeastern Conference on hand watching the Tigers today. They creep up again, go with the running play in the backfield, hit Tofield. As soon as he got the ball, Key Fox had already come across the line of scrimmage.
He came from the outside and was not blocked, number 54. Again, they timed this one up. You see him come off the corner. Now he's making a tackle on Tofield before he gets a chance to get anything done.
Well, Georgia Tech causing the same thing that happened in the first half, making LSU have a lousy first down and a not real good second down.
And put him in third and 5 or more.
Yeah. Davey gets his pass, has it complete. That's a nice throw to Gerald Myers.
And this is the spark that Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher wanted out of their backup quarterback, Rohan Davey. He's a captain. Adrian talked about he's very, very well liked by this football team. Finally healthy. Played in 4 games. Started versus Tennessee and Florida. Gutsy performance against Tennessee.
Chris Young got turned around on that. If he just turned around, he could have put a hand up and knocked it down. But a real nice touch by Davey. 3 of 3, 39 yards. Georgia Tech creeping him up. That quick pass again. Has this one complete to Reed. Adrian Karsten, let's check with you on the sideline.
It was that man, number 25, Josh Reed, who finally said after the UAB and then the game and then the Tennessee win, said you've got to buy into Josh Booty. Okay, he didn't win the game against Tennessee, but Rohan is hurt. So we've got to get behind someone. Ron, very honestly, there are a lot of guys on this team who wanted Rohan to be the starter. On the other hand, there are a lot of guys who wanted Josh to be the starter. Finally, Booty became the starter, but there comes a point when the coach has more to say than even Josh Reed, who made that big catch there.
Adrian, they got a first and goal. The ball just outside the 7-yard line. 2 tight ends, I formation, and they go with the run. Tofield inside the 5, up the 4, maybe the 3. Darrell Smith comes up to make the tackle. Georgia Tech, Rogers with 5 tackles in the first half. Key Fox now with 5 in the game, all of them solo. And Myers with 3, all of his are solo.
Again, it's not all Josh Booty because they didn't block anybody in the first half. So I don't mean to, and I don't want anybody to say that Josh Booty's the reason LSU didn't perform in the first half. They didn't perform because their offensive line didn't perform.
Again, 2 tight end formation. Power I set. Edwards, the 3rd tight end. He is lined up in a wing. Play action. Wide open is Banks, and he throws it. Touchdown, Tommy Banks. And here come the Tigers back. Booty comes out as the holder.
What you want when you insert your second quarterback, you wanted him to be able to pick up the level of play of every player on your football team. And he did that. Rohan Davey. Everybody played a little bit better, and the addition of Brandon Winding helped.
Good pass. Corbello's kick is up, and he's no good. He yanked that thing to the left. So a missed extra point. 10:59 left in the third quarter. Quiets the crowd just a little bit, but they're still cheering. And as we take a break, it is Rohan Davey who comes on and is perfect. Throws to Banks for the touchdown. We'll be right back. Sideline, and it's tough, and like Mike said, it was not all of Booty in the first half, but I'll tell you, Rohan not only came in with a lot of poise, Mike, he threw a couple of touch passes that were absolutely perfect.
I like the way he's talking to his coach. He's showing emotion. I mean, he's bought into this game now. Now the defense and special teams has to raise their level for LSU.
These LSU fans are really making some noise right now. This kick 3 yards deep in the end zone is going to be returned by Campbell. And Campbell runs into his own man, and then it's going to be tackled at the 15.
And they didn't get back to their average start at 20.5 yards. So the red line, they did not make it back to the red line.
LSU with a special teams player shaken up and is hobbling off the field at the 8-yard line.
Now George Godsey's got to answer the touchdown by Rohan Davey.
So let's see if Georgia Tech can put together a perfect second half as far as no turnovers. 4 turnovers in the first half.
And remember, they ran for 150 yards rushing, so they opened up LSU's defense to the run game.
They're going to run again. They pull the guard, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Falk is right there to stuff that one. And right now, Old Mo is wearing purple and gold.
Well, how many times do you see it? A guy that's well-liked on your football team comes off the bench and leads your team, and all of a sudden, everybody jumps on his bandwagon.
Falk now the leader in the ballgame in tackles with 8, 4 solo, and he also has a fumble recovery. Second down, 12. Godsey keeps it on the ground. Burns. They'll take it across the 15, stopped at the 16. And I mean the LSU cheering section to our right. They are roaring with every step that the Tigers take. And so far, every step they've taken in the second half has been the correct one.
Now, defensively, they're running better. They're running to the ball better.
Third down. Line to make. He's out at the 26. 3 of 6 tonight in third down conversions for the Jackets. Godsey under pressure, throws the ball too high. Nate Curry, the intended receiver.
That's what you want out of that drive. LSU's defense. Now special teams has a chance to take over.
Looks like Jeremy Lawrence, the strong side linebacker, was shaken up on the play. They're helping him off. Trev Falk stuck around to help his teammate.
Dominic Davis is a long ball threat here catching this punt.
Van Dyke stands to punt. His third to kick. The net punt average 43.6, so we'll chart it for you.
Check that red line out, see if Dominic Davis can get by it.
Driving spiral. Davis all the way back to the 26-yard line. Breaks by 2 tacklers, and he's going to take it out over the 37, maybe the 38. Kerry Watkins makes the tackle. 46 on the kick, 11 on the return, a net of 35. So we'll take a break. 9:15 left in the third. Tigers making a roar. The first drive, and he comes back out with the offense again.
Ron, in the game we had at Tennessee, Josh Reed, a converted tailback, number 25, was a big receiver for Rohan Davey.
Reed, 2 catches for 31. Zings this one complete to the man we were just talking about. And the tackle is made by Clark.
Yeah, when you have a favorite receiver, you like to go to him, and he has confidence in Josh Reed. Josh Reed's 5'11", 200 pounds, 65 catches this year, second in school history with 10 touchdown receptions. And I like what they're doing on first down. They're throwing on first down. They've got a good mix here so far in the second half.
2nd and 4. Pitch goes back to Davis. Turns the corner. Has the first down across midfield. Put a head down and ran over Jeremy Myers, much to the delight of his teammates right there on the sideline. Michael Lilly with an outstanding block.
Here's what you like to see if you're a coach. You like to see your bench being into the football game. This bench of LSU is excited. I mean, they're all in this football game. The fans are in this football game. These guys aren't lollygagging around. They're watching intently, and they're pulling for their teammates.
That's a gain of 8 yards. That's the longest run from scrimmage since back in the first quarter for the Tigers. Safeties creep up. Pressure, hit, ball is loose, and picked up by Davis. And now it's being whistled down as an incomplete pass.
Greg Gathers again. You know, every time he makes a hit on the LSU quarterback, he's making a statement. How do you like me now? Am I too small? He is playing with a motor in this football game. Number 55. Brandon Winey tries to cut him. See, that's a short pass game. That's Rohan Davies' fault. That's a short pass. He needs to get it off. He's trying to pump him to go, but he doesn't have time enough to do that.
Gathers 4 tackles, 3 hurries. So it's a 2nd down and 10. Here comes the blitz off the corner. They go straight ahead with Davis, and he will go inside the 45 to the 44. Wimbush, the inside linebacker, on the tackle.
When you can't control a guy like Greg Gathers, then you have to figure a way in play calling with screens, delays, draws, quick things that will frustrate him a little bit and let you chop Greg Gathers a little bit. So look for LSU maybe to screen him a little bit here in the second half.
Gathers has been moved into tackle on this play rather than at that defensive end spot. Shotgun formation on 3rd and 6. Got a man open, threw it too high to Reed. Ooh, buddy. And he had him.
He had the first down.
He really had the first down, plus about 8 or 9 more yards. First bad pass that he's really thrown as far as being off the mark.
Still should have been caught, though, but it was high.
Rhino, the deep man, 8 punts for LSU tonight. Donnie Jones, been a very, very busy guy. Will not turn over. Caught by Rhino. No fair catch, and he's going to get a couple of yards on the return as Damian James is there on the special teams to make the tackle. 28 on the punt, 3 on the return.
Georgia Tech needs to go back to Burns. Joe Burns, the tailback, a little bit. Hatch came on late in the first quarter, second quarter, but their running game was very effective in the first half with Burns.
Burns, the lone setback. Godsey to throw. Up the far sideline. Got a man, and it's intercepted. Right there is Clark.
Well, Georgia Tech just keeps leading LSU back into this football game. Bad decision here by George Godsey. Trying to get the ball to Kelly Campbell. Yeah, he hung it up, and Ryan Clark, the free safety to Phil Almation, the defensive coordinator, loves. He just breaks on the football, goes high for the interception, picks it off.
Came a long way, Mike.
He really did. He's got great range. You need a center fielder. The one thing LSU talked about, they're strong in the middle. You know, the baseball, if you have a good catcher, pitcher, and center fielder, well, they got a good middle guard, good linebackers, and a good free safety in Ryan Clark.
5 turnovers for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Counter play. Tofield breaks off a tackle, breaks off another, has 5, 6, 7, and it may be a 9-yard gain in the play because of the second effort.
Georgia Tech is the team walking around now. LSU is putting it to them. This is where you just think about George Godsey. He's had Ralph Friedgen for the last couple of seasons to talk to. They're one coach short today, Georgia Tech, because of Ralph Friedgen leaving for Maryland.
Second down and very short for the Tigers. And they go with the running play, make sure they pick up the first down, and they do. And let's check on the sideline. Speaking of Ralph, who's with Adrian?
Ron, probably one of the most talked about coaches in college football right now, told me last night with all his heart he would love to coach this game. Ralph, bittersweet moment for you.
Yes, it is. Right now I'm just pulling for Georgia Tech and hope we hang in there and win this thing.
That last interception, Coach, you were rather emotional.
Well, we haven't done that all year, and that's the thing you can't do is beat ourselves. We've been a very efficient team, and you know, that's the difference in this game right now, that we've turned it over. We've moved the ball, and I think Billy's done a great job of mixing formations and keeping people off balance, but you can't stop yourself when you turn the ball over.
Bill O'Brien has done a phenomenal job, Coach, but I need to ask you honestly, were you on that sideline right now? What adjustment would you make?
I tell them to stop turning the ball over. You know, I don't know how much you can do to control that. I mean, you got to take care of the football. It's a very precious thing, and you know, the thing that LSU is doing right now is they're pressing them up and playing man-to-man, and George just went for a one-on-one situation. He just hung it up a little bit too much, and the free safety made a great play.
Ron, less and less these days in college football do you see a man go back to his alma mater to coach. A Maryland man has gone home to coach the Terrapins. Coach, thank you very much for taking time. Ron, we're all on the edges of our seat up here.
Turnover and the fumble recovered by Key Fox. And Tofield is arguing that he was down, that the fumble came after the play. A look at Key Fox on the sideline. Was he down? Yes. So Georgia Tech gets it back, and you hear the boo. The crowd just saw it here on the screens, and the officials didn't get to look at the replay, but they heard that reaction. Blitz right up the middle, maybe 1 yard of the running play. Dawson comes through to hit Burns.
Look at this fumble by Tofield. Looks like he was hitting the turf. Yep.
Yeah, his knee was down.
That's yesterday's news, though. You got to move on.
Georgia Tech, 2 tight ends. This time they go to the short side of the field. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a couple on the play as Davis makes the tackle, and there's a flag down. Holding Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech just out of sync right now in offense.
But obviously the best thing that happened to them is the recovered fumble that Key Fox got just a moment ago. But beyond that, Mike, they haven't had a lot of good things happen to them in the third quarter.
No, and Bill O'Brien just searching for something now. He had everything in the first half at his disposal. Now he's just searching for something to find to go to. LSU blitzing a lot here in the second half.
Gotcha. Gets it away, and the ball's dropped. Hit him right in the hands. Nate Curry.
I think the receivers have had a hard time on this turf also today. They seems like just haven't made plays. This ball's out. You just can't get both hands extended. Not on that play, but several plays they're trying to come back to the ball, and it seemed like they get their feet stuck in the turf.
5 drops against the Yellow Jackets. As you look at the numbers,
the big one is 2 interceptions.
From the shotgun, good protection this time. Dumps it right over the middle. This is Burns. 25 out to the 28. It'll be enough for the Georgia Tech first down. And now here come late flags in. Beg your pardon, that's the front end of the stick because they had 3rd down and a distance, 21 yards to get the first. But now let's see what the late markers that came in are about.
The NCAA assigns different crews to the bowl games so that you get a neutral crew. This is from Conference USA.
Lionel Thomas, the strong safety, is
Dead
injured.
Ball, personal foul on the offense. After the play, half the distance to the goal. The 4th down.
Looked like Brent Key around after the whistle. There's the block.
And that's a post-play foul, so the play is over. It now is 4th down, and the penalty goes half the distance to the goal line. Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow on ESPN with the Sylvania Alamo Bowl at 8 o'clock Eastern. Quarterback Eric Crouch leads number 8 Nebraska against running back Damian Anderson and the number 19 Northwestern Wildcats. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet. Think Adrian will watch that?
I think a lot of people will watch that. That'll be a highly rated game.
I think it'll be a fun football game.
Northwestern has had a great year. Randy Walker and the staff, they get time to get people healthy, and I think they'll play with Nebraska.
I do too. A lot of different names mentioned for Coach of the Year, but Walker certainly had to be given a lot of consideration, as well as 3 or 4 other coaches. Here's the boot. Line drive. This is a beauty. Davis from the 42-yard line of LSU. And he's going to have about 5 yards on the return as Kerry Watkins is downfield to make the tackle. So it's 44 on the punt and 5 on the return. We'll take a timeout. 3:43 remaining. Georgia Tech 14-9. The score 14-9 Georgia Tech. And a reminder, tonight's Morgan Stanley Dean Witter well-connected storyline for LSU. Booty in the first half, 8 of 19, 110 yards. Then Davey in the second half, 7 of 9, 63 yards and a touchdown. Turnovers, LSU with a crucial one on the last drive, 5 against Tech. And rushing yardage, now LSU with 48.
And Ron, George O'Leary during that timeout was lighting up his offense. He was getting into their face, and he knows he's lost a veteran coach in Ralph Friedgen, and he's trying to pick up that role. Now, he bristled a little bit this week when people asked him about the loss of Ralph Friedgen, because you're a staff, so you figure one guy's not going to make that big of an effect. So he's trying to get his attention of his team.
Davey, play action, and as they roll the pocket, he's got a man open deep, his tight end, and didn't have time to get it off to him. Davey going to scramble to the 45-yard line. Domingo over the middle, who is not the fastest of the tight ends, had gotten himself free.
This is the first time since the Tennessee game that Rohan Davey has been healthy. He's thrown 8 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. You see the tight end out there? But he didn't have time. He made the right decision to pick up as many yards as he can, scrambling with the football.
Key Fox made the tackle. Boy, you could see the explosion. That young man is so quick. Fox is going to be a great football player. Right up the middle, big opening. Flag is down. Cofield will have the first down plus a lot of yardage. Fox again on the stop.
Looked like movement on LSU.
Thursday, January the 11th on ESPN, it's the 2001 ESPY Award nomination special at 10 Eastern. Among the 34 awards to be given out at this year's ceremony, we'll announce the nominees for Male and Female Athletes of the Year, College and Pro Teams of the Year, Comeback and Breakthrough Athletes of the Year. As the best in sports get ready to descend on Las Vegas for the ESPYs in February.
I want to go to the ESPYs one of these years. I know you're busy with basketball.
It's always on Monday, and we have a big Monday game every year.
I'm waiting for an
blitz is on. Ball is hit and knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Who else? Key Fox. Good heavens, this young man is making a statement as far as next year.
Making some busts at the line of scrimmage, and that's what I keep watching Rodney Reed. He's talking to LeBrandon Tofield. I think Reed went outside. Tofield had to go inside. They both went outside the block, and Key Fox comes inside. Watch this. Now, see, look, it's a complete bust at the line of scrimmage. What you have to do at the line of scrimmage collectively as a unit is diagnose what they're doing on defense.
Third down. They need to take it to the Georgia Tech 43-yard line. 2:39 remaining, third quarter. Right up in the middle, got it complete for the first down at the 34 to Josh Reed. Reed did not have a catch in the first half. He has 5 in the third quarter.
There's a chemistry between Reed and Davey, and they got a feel for each other. And Rohan Davey drills this football into Josh Reed.
Well, you're right. Kids, all of a sudden, they have a good sense about each other as far as timing, the way they break off their routes and what have you.
They know it. They know they have a feel for each other.
Huge first down for LSU.
Still waiting for that tight end play, Robert Royal.
Blitz from the free safety. They throw it to Reed again. And Myers is the man who will make the tackle.
Again, Rohan Davey is recognizing defensive coverages. And he knows he's got a 5-6 yard gain out there when they blitz the safety to Josh Reed. It's a game of adjustments. You make an adjustment, I have to make an adjustment. And right now, LSU is doing things right on offense.
Davey, 9 of 11, 90 yards and a touchdown. They'll run it with Tofield. Inside the 25, around the 24. Key Fox makes still another tackle.
Been a different offensive line since Brandon Winey's come into this football game.
Third down and inches, LSU. You go run it on fourth anyway. Do you play action to put it up here?
No, I think I go right behind Brandon Winey.
Tommy Banks, all 275 pounds, would have the first down, plus about 3 yards.
See, Brandon Winey has given you the same thing as Rohan Davey has given you at the offensive line. He's kind of got them playing at a little different level in the second half. So just lead with him and follow him with Tommy Banks, and they pick up the first down.
Winey, a senior out of Lake Charles, 6'7", 288 pounds. Didn't play in the first half because of that broken bone. And we showed you the cast on the opening series of the second half. Here comes the blitz again. Play action. Davey just throws it into the ground. Very smart play. Didn't even want Banks to catch it because everybody was covered. Credit the Georgia Tech secondary. They had them blanketed.
I'm sure Nick Saban went to Winey at halftime and said, "How's your hand?" And he may have said it still hurts, but it's healed because you're going into that football game. We need you. This Greg Gathers is killing us.
Mike, again, the pressure on that play coming from Fox. You have to think, even as a sophomore, he may be first-team all-conference preseason selection for next year.
He's got a knack for the football.
He really does. He's got all the tools. Eighth play of the drive. Georgia Tech creeping up. They stay at home. Then the pass, Reed. Mike, talk about what you do and do it well executed with the quick pass game. The offensive line that time, super job of just chop and get them down.
And that's the answer. Jimbo Fisher with a nice job here in the second half. Josh Reed's the inside receiver. You see the offensive line chopping at the line of scrimmage. Quick pass outside to Josh Reed. You pick up the first down against Chris Young.
First down Tigers. First down and goal. They trail 14-9. We have 18 seconds showing on the clock in the third quarter.
Here's where you like a back like Tokyo, 227 pounds.
Two tight end alignment. That's Banks in motion. They give it to Tokyo right side. Puts a head down, but he got banged hard by Corrin. Brian Corrin, the big senior out of Albany, Georgia. Clock runs at 4, now at 3, and we're about to head to the final 15 minutes of this one. It was a quarter that the LSU faithful to our right really, really enjoyed. As we head to the fourth and final 15 minutes, our score is Georgia Tech 14, LSU 9, and the Tigers are threatening. That Tiger just struck up to the LSU band. And the purple and gold just went nuts. Part of the 73,614, a new record for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl just announced here at the stadium. On the field, second down and goal from the 9.
Ron, here's where a good tight end, Robert Royal, has not caught the ball today, but here's a good position to try to get him the football.
Let's watch for him. As Rohan Davey sets in the pocket, lobs it to the end zone, he just throws this one away. Double coverage on Reed that time as Clay Brooks was applying pressure.
Yeah, they're going to make sure Josh Reed didn't catch the football. The combination you like down here is the tight end Robert Royal and the fullback Tommy Banks.
157 yards in the third quarter for LSU to only 13 by Georgia Tech. Mike just mentioned it is a game of adjustments, and obviously the LSU staff has done an awfully good job of adjustments in this second half.
Robert Royal right inside here, the tight end.
Pressure. Rohan Marley. Did he get a foot down? Touchdown. Josh Reed. Rohan Davey with the touchdown pass, and I mean Reed got 1 foot barely down.
Rohan Davey gets time, he gets this ball, lofts it up. Number 25, Josh Reed, comes down, gets his feet down.
Yep. Right there.
Left foot down before the right foot came in the white. That was close.
Going for 2, trying to make it a 17-14 ball game. And they have elected to have the ball placed at the left hash mark.
See if they motion Tommy Banks to the right side here. Yep, they're going to try to balance him up.
Tofield in motion. Blitz is on. Hit. Gets the pass away, and it is caught. Unbelievable. Josh Reed has had an all-world second half. Nick Rogers was all over it. But the difference, Rohan Davey weighs 240 pounds. He's hard to knock off his feet.
That's before Christmas. I think he weighs more now. But he couldn't take him down. Rohan Davey strength enough to throw the football. Reed with another great play.
So let's take a timeout. What a reversal as far as momentum and fortune in a quarter and just a minute. New score, LSU 17-14. Out of Miami. And it's not that I'm that big a reggae fan, but I told you before the game, I hope I didn't call him Rohan Marley, and I did. I apologize. Obviously, I know it is Rohan Davey. At the goal line, Campbell. Just shy of the 20-yard line. Now, Mike, take us through a sequence here. If you're offensive coordinator, if you're Georgia Tech, what do you got to do to settle everybody down and do what was so good for them in the first half?
Well, first of all, the catch, Ron. Josh Reed had time enough to get his feet down, and then Rohan Davey with a great play. I think you rely on George Godsey. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter against Central Florida and came back. They scored 15 points in the fourth quarter to beat Clemson. so they're very capable. They've been in this spot a couple times.
Play action, pressure's on, and Gotze is going to be sacked. 59, Jarvis Green, the second sack of the ball game.
Jarvis Green now has 18 career sacks for LSU. Makes a good play on this bootleg, never takes the fake inside with the running game, and makes the tackle. Now you talk about Georgia Tech. They got to find a way to get Kelly Campbell involved here. Just as Josh Reed has done for LSU, Kelly Campbell can do the same thing for Georgia Tech.
2nd and 17. Sets in the pocket, gets this one complete. Tackle made at the 20. Ball came loose. LSU football. Recovered by James. Now here comes a flag in and a second flag across the way. This is going to be celebration or what?
LSU, yeah.
That ball, a sportsmanlike conduct after the interception, an LSU 15-yard penalty, first down.
Here's the biggest problem you have if you're George Gotze. See, nobody's talking to him. Ralph Friedgen is the quarterback coach. Ralph Friedgen would be right here right now talking to him. Here's the play. Nate Curry gets the football. Gets stripped by Demetrius Hookfin. But now you go off to the sideline and you're one coach short to settle your quarterback down, George Gotze.
So the penalty assessed as you look at Ralph Friedgen.
And he'd like to be on that field to settle his quarterback down.
First down, safety coming up on the blitz, pumped it once, going to go deep over the middle, and just a little too far for Reggie Robinson. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
I have the fourth quarter. This is when fatigue sets in. The defensive line for Georgia Tech was off the field for one play. Ron, they dragged their butts back onto the field. The offensive line barely got their butts onto the field for the last series. 6 degrees difference. When I was in with Ralph Friedgen halfway up the stadium, it was 6 degrees cooler. Usually heat rises, but this is a dome. The heat has no place to go except settle in. Georgia Tech is really dragging right now.
Okay, Adrian. Short drop this time to Hopper out. Threw it just a little too high for Josh Reed. Reed, by the way, 8 catches for 85 yards.
Adrian giving us an anatomy lesson there.
Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
No, not an anatomy.
Remember, Georgia Tech has owned the possession time all season. LSU is in control of this football game. They need a play here. You talk about Georgia Tech. They got to reach back right now and make LSU settle for a field goal attempt.
Third down. The line to make is the Georgia Tech 22-yard line. You can see the numbers. The Tigers are 5 of 14 on third down conversions. Right over the middle, Myers can't hold on. Hester with the defensive play, and that is a good defensive stand by Georgia Tech at a time they had to have it.
Yeah, 3-man rush, Ron, right here. They got 8 covering, so Rohan Davey can't find an opening.
Okay, so this means when we look at the field goal attempt by Corbello, they got to place it down at the 39-yard line. So 49 yards. His longest is against Tennessee, which is 47 yards.
Indoors, you got a shot.
Booty to Holder. Plenty of distance on the kick, and he is good. New career long for Corbello. That ties a school record. Let's take a break. 20-14 LSU. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2000 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is presented by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And in part by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten. Part of a triple header today. Great game up in Memphis at the Liberty Bowl, won by Colorado State. This one right here, Georgia Tech having their way in the first half, and now here come the Tigers back in the second half. And in the wings, on deck, the Holiday Bowl, the Culligan Holiday Bowl out in San Diego, Oregon, and Texas. Fun day of college football.
Georgia Tech's average starting at the 19.7 yards, and let it go out of the end zone, you gain a half.
Corbello will kick this one as 6 yards deep and away from the return man. So they'll get it at the 20.
Remember the missed extra point, because that looms big here. 20-14. You're a touchdown and an extra point away from taking that lead. And Ron, I really believe Georgia Tech has got to find Kelly Campbell and get him involved here.
You see the numbers on Godsey, 11 of 23, 84 yards, 2 interceptions, as Georgia Tech has turned it over 6 times in this ballgame. Godsey, short drop. There's the quick look in, and he catches the slant, tackled immediately by Damian James. Kerry Watkins, the receiver.
When you look at Kelly Campbell, he's caught 12 touchdown passes, 59 receptions. He averages 87.5 yards per game. You know what he has today? 2 catches, 9 yards. He's more of a threat. You got to find a way to get the football in his.
And those 2 catches came in the first half.
He has been flanked in the second half.
Second down and short. It's Myers in motion. Keep it on the ground, and they're going to have the first down. Joe Burns will take it straight ahead. Huge cheer from the Georgia Tech faithful here, because they'd like to see him do just that. Just run the football, maintain control a little bit here, and gain the momentum back. Josh Reed on the sideline getting a well-deserved rest. No catches in the first half. 8 catches in the second half. 85 yards and a touchdown. Little counterplay. This time, a little greeting committee there for Burns, and he will have a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Kareem Mitchell, number 97, is filling in for Muskingum Barnes, playing well here in the second half. 97, 6'4", 251.
Here comes that linebacker on the blitz. There's his safety. Godsey hit as he gets it away and just throws it well over the head of the receiver. That was Lionel Thomas from the strong safety spot, a junior out of Opelousas.
See, when you choose your time to blitz, Phil Almation, the defensive coordinator for LSU, now is making a good use of his safeties. There's a safety blitz. Never gave a chance for George Godsey.
Third down. Georgia Tech has to take it to the 42-yard line to keep this drive going, or they got to kick it away again.
See, here's another problem. You get in a bad formation.
3 of 8 on third down conversions. Blitz for the linebacker. Pass is caught, and he's close to the first down. Kelly Campbell, the man that Mike was just talking about, and I believe he's going to move the chains.
I'd keep throwing to him, and eventually you're going to get a long ball to him. Bill O'Brien doing a nice job mixing his plays up. Kelly Campbell, this ball was thrown on time.
LSU had better get lined up here, Mike. They're still making changes in Georgia Tech's at the line of scrimmage.
They don't have
timeout being called. They don't have enough men on the field, do they?
No, they got 9. That's tough to play with 9. I know they got a motion, but it's tough to play with 9.
11:37 left in the ball game. LSU 20, Georgia Tech 14.
Well, his confidence, his command seemingly growing by the day. Chris Sims ripped up the Aggies. He's got a lot of weapons for Oregon, but it'll be a challenge against the Ducks' aggressive defense. The Holiday Bowl coming up next, guys.
All righty, that's the third game of our triple header that we were just talking about. Our situation, 11:37 left in the ball game. LSU by 6. The second half has belonged to them, but an opportunity for the Yellow Jackets here to regain that momentum and also the lead. Here comes the blitz. They go with the run. They bounce it to the outside, and look at Burns puts a head down, and he is going to have a couple of extra yards as Booker will come over to make the tackle, but that is a good, tough run.
Georgia Tech, Bill O'Brien coming with 2 tight ends now to run the football. When you go 2 tight ends, you balance up the defense, and you get a helmet on a helmet with 2 tight ends. And then Joe Burns breaks it outside and just ran over Fred Booker. Injured Fred Booker.
Second down and short. Play action. Here comes the pressure from the outside. Got his pass away and running for his life. He just threw it away. That was Fred Booker, who was applying pressure on the quarterback.
Well, Nick Saban's a former secondary coach. He coached in pro football. And anytime you're in the hash mark closest to the boundary, LSU can show you a 2-deep coverage and line Fred Booker up in the wide receiver and then bring him because you're real close to the sideline. George Godsey was not prepared for that.
Third down. They got to take it to the 47. 8th play of the drive for Georgia Tech. Good protection this time. Now it breaks down, and he's going to be sacked. Boy, of all the things you didn't want to happen, that was it right there. Third time that they've gotten to Godsey, and Lawrence and Brady James will share that sack.
Nothing there for George Godsey. You got to throw the football away, but again, good effort by LSU's defense.
Dyke with his 5th punt of the afternoon, a driving spiral. Caught, fair catch is made by Davis inside the 10-yard line. 54 yards in the punt. Well, it's time for you, the viewer, to go online and help us select tonight's player of the game. And here's the list of nominees. For LSU, Davey, Reed, and Winey. For Georgia Tech, Godsey, Joe Burns, and Greg Gathers. Log on to ESPN.com now and cast your vote. We'll announce the winner late in the 4th quarter.
Ron, that might be the first time we have an offensive tackle on there, Brandon Winey. But he means so much to this offensive line. He's been able to control Greg Gathers in the second half.
Quick pass. Got it complete to Myers. And that'll be enough for the first down as LSU chips away a gain of 11 right there. Adrian, let's go down to you.
Because Brandon Winey's cast run is the same color of Georgia Tech's jersey, they have been complaining about the fact he gets to hold. Now, granted, he's got a broken bone in his left thumb, but he still has movement in those 4 other fingers. He's grabbing on to the shoulder pads, the blades that come down across the chest of Georgia Tech, and he's getting away with it. Georgia Tech complained about it pregame. They wanted to see the cast. He's been doing a beautiful job blocking.
Well, Adrian, it's a 4-fingered hold. First down. They move the chains out beyond the 21-yard line. And Davey will give it to Tofield. Nick Rogers steps up to make the tackle after a short game.
I'm not trying to influence the voters because Brandon Winey. No, because if I had a vote, obviously I would vote for number 6 right now. Now, he would get my second vote right here, Brandon Winey, because he's done a good job. There, he let go of his defensive lineman, Nick Rogers. But I would vote for Rohan Davey because he has given the spark to everybody in here.
Offense and defense.
Yeah,
for that
offense,
matter.
defense, and the fans from LSU.
LSU leads it by 6. Clock running, about to go under 9 minutes left in the ball game. Pressure was on, gets it away, and that's complete to Banks, the fullback. Breaks the tackle, has another 15 yards, and now an extra 18 after the second effort in breaking the tackle.
Put him back on the list, too, Tommy Banks.
You can't vote for everybody, Mike.
Tommy Banks has had a big football game. But this in the first half, LSU didn't get this football off. And Rohan Davey gets it off to Tommy Banks, and he's a runaway Buffalo.
That was Gathers who was putting pressure on the quarterback. And as you said, we mentioned, I mean, Davey is huge. He's 240 pounds. And like you said, that was before Christmas. He's hard to knock off his feet.
He ate a lot of turkey in Christmas.
Banks now 5 catches, 65 yards. That's a career high for Tommy Banks. Pitch comes back to the tailback. Tofield puts the head down, and they'll take it across midfield in a gain of about 4. Wimbush and Smith on the defensive end.
You talked about Rohan Davey. How much you say he weighed? 239?
That's what it said when the year started.
Yeah, that's Thanksgiving and Christmas. He's up to 251 now.
251.
251.
You know that.
Yeah, he's 251. And a lot of that 251's underneath that 6. Just below the 6.
So that's just rib pads, Mike.
Yeah. But that's why it's so tough for him to tackle him.
Well, for instance, Gathers hit him a good lick just now, but Gathers only weighs 10 more pounds than he does. On second down, pass over the middle, in and out of the hands of Reed, and he knows, boy, did he have an opportunity. A flag is down back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's a beautiful throw. I mean, that's thrown just like you want it thrown on Sundays in the Pro League. I mean, that ball was right on the money.
Gathers wanted to make sure he told his coaches.
Knocked the head off.
They go shift, and he knocks the head of the referee off.
He's telling him, hey, watch my hat.
Randy Sims.
It's a white hat, too.
Let's take a look at it again.
Oh, he's not worried about his hat. It's his forehead. He got elbowed.
Yeah, Greg just wanted to make sure that his
defensive coordinator, Ted Roof, knew exactly what the situation was. It's now going to be second down and 11.
You think they go again to Josh Reed?
They're going to go with the running field. Tofield crosses midfield down to around the 46. Darrell Smith there to make the tackle.
Better job of play calling in the second half with draws and screens. Tommy Banks catching the ball in the backfield, and that'll slow the rush down.
And see that clock right now, 7.5 minutes for all those incomplete passes. You look at Jimbo Fisher.
Credit Jimbo Fisher with a nice adjustment here in the second half.
Third down. And the Tigers need to go to the 42-yard line of Tech to keep this one going. Otherwise, they got to punt it. Here comes the blitz. All out. Davies' pass is caught. That's Robinson. And trying to get away. He'll have the first down at the 36.5-yard line.
The other thing that impresses me about Rohan Davey is he's cool. He's a cool customer. Look at him. I mean, he is in this football game. They bring the blitz. They're at his feet. And he gets the ball out to Reggie Robinson. Picks up the first down.
Key Fox was the man who hit the quarterback. It was Chris Young who was holding on for dear life. If Chris lets go of him, Reggie Robinson is down the field 37 more yards for a touch.
Now you're Nick Saban. You're thinking about that clock. You also want to be able to tack at least 3 on here.
Davey, 14 of 22, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tofield, not much there, and he will go down at the line of scrimmage. Darrell Smith makes the stop. Fumble came after he was down. The clock continues to roll as LSU keeps mixing the plays, but particularly even on the short plays, and this one right here is going to lose about a half yard. But we're about, by the time they snap this ball, we'll be under 5 minutes to play, under 6 minutes, I should say, to play in the ball game. Davey lobs it out. Banks hit immediately and knocked down by Hester. Marvius Hester, sophomore out of Smyrna, Georgia.
He's 170 pounds. He wanted to get Tommy Banks before he got started. Now Georgia Tech needs to hold their ground right here to force the long field goal. This is a big football play here with a nice hit by Hester.
Here comes the crowd. The Tech folks to our left standing. To our right, the LSU faithful. They're standing. Here comes the blitz. Davies' pass is caught by Josh Reed for the first down.
Good combination.
Nick Rogers was all over the quarterback, and Davey got it to his favorite receiver for his 9th catch of the second half.
And there wasn't a lot of room to fit that football in. Rohan Davey under pressure again is going to get hit here just as he throws the football. Option route where Josh Reed just got to the sticks, turned around, open for the first down. Nick Rogers really leveling Rohan Davey.
So after that first down, just under 5 minutes, and now the clock continues to run. Points right here by LSU, and if they let another couple of minutes run off that clock, Georgia Tech's going to have to start calling timeouts. Safeties creep up. Tofio will go with a running play.
I say top 15 next year for LSU, move them up to top 10. All these guys back next year.
Well, they lose on offense Williams and Winey. I know that Royal is listed as a senior, but he was a prop kid and has quality, has done the required classroom work that he needs to do. He gets one more year, so he is back. So those are the players along with Tommy Banks on offense and only Fred Booker on defense. Tofio breaks it big. 10-5, first and goal LSU. 17 yards.
Rob Sale with a good block. He sealed everything down inside.
You can see DiMaggio pushing his man all the way back inside as well.
Lewis Williams, another good block. The offensive line for LSU. Rick Trickett, good adjustments at halftime. They've taken over this football game.
This may be as big a flip as far as the fortunes of two teams from one half to the others I've ever seen. Look at this, 258 to 30 yards in the second half.
Remember, LSU had 7 yards rushing in the first half.
Straight ahead, Tommy Banks. He will have a couple of yards. And I have a feeling, if it is possible, that they would like to see the senior Tommy Banks, who has been such a hard worker, take the ball into the end zone. Georgia Tech uses one of those timeouts and will use it with them. 3:16 left in the ball game. LSU driving again. LSU 20-14 to show you it's a friendly crowd. This gentleman right here didn't have a pom-pom, so this attractive young lady comes down and says, "You can have mine."
Wave this.
And so watch this. See what happens when you get a pom-pom in your hand.
He's got some rhythm, too. But he tires. That's the only thing. He tired after a while, and he switched hands.
Heading back to the couch. 13th play of the drive started at their own 9-yard line. Play action. There's Banks. Touchdown for the senior.
We've seen Rohan Davey twice. We saw what he did against Tennessee on one ankle. We see what he's done here in this football game at the Peach Bowl. He's given his football team, they believe in him. It's a great effort by Rohan Davey again.
LSU to go for two from the shotgun. They rolled the pocket in the end zone. Got the two, Reggie Robinson.
Rohan says it's easy.
Mike, I'm serious. As long as I've been watching football, I'm not sure I've ever seen two halves of football as opposite.
No.
I mean, Georgia Tech dominated in the first half.
They dominated. They came out in the second half. Rohan Davey gave them a spark on offense and defense and special teams. Brandon Winey kind of contained Greg Gather. Here's the touchdown. A little lofted. Tommy Banks, you had talked about Tommy Banks getting the touchdown. He's a senior.
And the reaction, you could tell his teammates respect him and they want to praise him for all his hard work for his years at LSU. All the guys that came over and gave him a hug when the play was over.